The murder of the UnitedHealthcare CEO seems to be getting wilder and wilder, folks. Let's talk about it.
It is day 3 of a cross-state manhunt for the gunman who killed the CEO of UnitedHealthcare, Brian Thompson. We're now learning that the suspect reportedly traveled to New York City on a bus that came from Atlanta just days before the shooting. Detectives also found that he used a fake New Jersey ID to check into a Manhattan hostel where he stayed. We go now to CBS News senior coordinating producer on crime and public safety, Anna Schechter. She joins us to go over all of these new details. First, let's talk about the two newest clues, Anna. The suspect's bus ride to New York City and that fake ID he used to check into the hostel. How are police using these two pieces of evidence to help track down their shooter?
Well, the bus trip is very helpful because it's a physical thing that investigators can take a look at. That's part of their casing. We know it originated in Atlanta. It's unclear when the person of interest boarded that bus. So that just gives you a sense of where we are in the investigation.
Real quick, in this day and age, this high-tech day and age with cameras everywhere, whether it's surveillance cameras on properties, on buses, people with their phones, there is no way in my mind that this guy will go. It won't be much longer before we figure out who this guy is. Now, it all depends on where he went, whether he wants to be caught. It doesn't seem like he wants to be caught because he's using a fake ID. He tried to cover his face in most instances, even though probably his coffee addiction got to him when he was at the Starbucks when he uncovered his face. That's not too bright, obviously. But then again, he assassinated somebody. So being intelligent, it doesn't necessarily go along with this whole conversation anyway. I understand a lot of people are talking about the corrupt insurance industries, and I'm not here to argue against that because they are, and a lot of times they take some of these companies, they're more focused on the bottom line than they are really helping people who are truly in need. So I can understand how emotions can get involved, and people can be and people can feel pushed to do some pretty harsh things. In no way am I justifying anybody being killed, but I've been around enough people who were in moments of distress and they felt as if they had no other alternative but to do the things that they did. At least that's how they justify these things in their own mind. But there's no way this guy is going to be able to get away with this for an extended period of time. Now, if he traveled out of country, that's a completely different story. It may take longer to track him down. But if he's here in the United States, it won't be long before we figure out who he is and before he gets caught. At least that's what I think.
And there are a lot of tips that have come through with names, and investigators are chasing down all of those, but they still have not nailed down the name of the person of interest who took that bus ride, arrived in New York City, checked into that hostel using a fake New Jersey ID, and stayed for several days. He arrived on November 24th. So that's multiple days before police believe that the same person carried out the attack, Liz.
And Anna, we know the victim, Brian Thompson, was shot in the back and the calf. What do police know about the gun that was used in the shooting?
Well, the gun is an unusual gun. It's hard to find. It's got a very long barrel, a distinctive look that you can see in the surveillance video of the attack that we've seen on the show today. And it's that's what led investigators to go up to Connecticut to gun stores that actually sell this type of gun. It's a B&T Station 6 gun that he used. Police have told CBS News that.
I'm not familiar with that gun. If you guys are, put it in the comment section below. B&T Station 6. I'm not sure if that's what she said or not. Let me rewind it real quick.
Station 6 gun that he used. Police have told CBS News that it has a silencer on it, so
wow.
it's quieter. It doesn't make the same kind of sound when a shot is fired.
So are they saying that that gun comes with a suppressor or silencer already on it? Because that's really weird. Now, I know that all kinds of firearms are made out there. But in order to get something like that with a suppressor already on it, you typically have to get some type of federal firearms license in order to have something like that. That would have to be, and of course, there's always a black market. So that eliminates any necessity for someone having connections of being connected or having that level of clearance to be able to have a weapon with a suppressor. So I don't know. As time goes on, we'll definitely figure all this out. One thing I do want to say is I remember when people were initially talking about it, they were like, man, he was shooting and then he was holding on to his rounds because he didn't want them to go down on the ground because he wanted to cover his tracks. And they said, yeah, he looked like he was really skilled. And I'm sitting up there as a former police firearms instructor. I'm sitting over there watching that video and I'm saying that didn't make any sense to me. It looked more like the gun was jamming and he had to clear it and re-rack it. That's what I saw. And then yesterday or today, that came out to be the exact case because he did have rounds. He did have shell casings on the ground that were engraved. What was it? I can't remember the exact term. Deflect, deny, depose. I'm sure I got it mixed up, so forgive me on that. But it seemed to me that it was somebody who had some training and definitely had an idea, a plan laid out clearly. But unless we get more information that points us in a different direction, it seemed more like someone who was having repeated malfunctions. But again, we'll see as time goes on.
And you saw in the video, we actually stopped that video before the shot came, but having reviewed the video, he fired multiple rounds. And of course, we know that on the casings and bullets, some evidence and clues towards a motive were found by investigators.
And that surveillance video, multiple surveillance videos, Anna, that we're looking at are serving as key pieces of evidence in that. How are police using the technology to try to locate this suspect?
Well, the technology is key to this. What they're doing is they're casing the entire area, and that started happening as soon as the investigation kicked in. Investigators started physically going to businesses and buildings and residences in the immediate area to try to trace a pathway and screen through the surveillance footage captured by all of these cameras. There are hundreds and hundreds of cameras in that area. And so they were able to track him going into a back alleyway, grabbing a bicycle, riding it up into Central Park. They lost him in Central Park. There are fewer cameras there, but then they captured him exiting on the west side of the park, somewhere between 70th and 80th Streets. And then CBS News obtained video from a building owner on West 85th Street that showed the bicyclist, the suspect turning left onto West 85th Street and riding west, and that is the last known image. So you can see how important all of that technology is to piecing together a timeline of exactly where he went. And still, despite all of that evidence, more than 200 images captured the suspect that morning on Wednesday morning. They still do not know where he is, and they do not have an identity on him.
All right, CBS News senior coordinating producer on crime and public safety, Anna Schechter. Thank you.
Now I'm going to put an image up here of the one I believe was taken at a Starbucks with his actual face. You never know. Somebody might see this video and end up knowing who this guy is. And there's Crime Stoppers in New York you can always reach out to, NYPD. But it's just really insane how some people, I can understand the frustration of having to deal with bad medical care. I mean, I'm a veteran and I deal with the VA, so I totally get it. But But for the life of me, I can't understand, I can't relate to feeling pushed to the point to where you want to take someone else's life. Let me know what your thoughts are on this video. Comment down below, and I'll see you on the next one.